Consciousness refers to the subjective quality of experience, the sense of what it is like to see, taste, feel, think, or become aware of one's own awareness, and remains one of the most difficult problems in philosophy and science. Researchers distinguish several forms of consciousness, including phenomenal consciousness, which concerns the raw, subjective character of experience, access consciousness, which refers to information available for reasoning and action, and self-consciousness, which involves awareness of oneself as the subject of experience. Wakefulness is related to consciousness, but is not identical with it, because people may be awake without full self-awareness or may have vivid experiences while dreaming. Consciousness should also not be equated with intelligence, attention, or activity in a single brain region, since evidence suggests that conscious experience depends on distributed and interacting neural networks. Laboratory research has identified neural correlates of consciousness, including recurrent interactions between brain regions, frontoparietal activity in certain tasks, and thalamocortical loops associated with conscious perception. Phenomena such as blind sight, binocular rivalry, masking, and inattentional blindness demonstrate that information can influence behavior without necessarily entering conscious awareness. Brain stimulation combined with EEG has also been used to measure the complexity and integration of neural responses, helping scientists assess levels of consciousness in anesthesia and disorders of consciousness. These findings support the idea that consciousness depends both on integrating information across the brain and on making selected information widely available to different cognitive systems. Several major theories attempt to explain how this occurs, although none has achieved general acceptance. Global workspace theory proposes that information becomes conscious when it wins access to a global workspace and is broadcast to systems involved in memory, language, and action. Integrated information theory instead associates consciousness with the degree to which a system forms an integrated causal structure, while recurrent and predictive processing theories emphasize feedback exchanges between higher and lower levels of neural processing. Higher-order theories argue that a mental state becomes conscious when the system possesses a representation of itself as being in that state. Each theory explains important aspects of the evidence, but also faces unresolved problems concerning reportability, testability, prediction, and the immediate character of experiences such as pain. Consciousness also varies in terms of both level, ranging from coma and deep sleep, to normal wakefulness and altered states, and content, meaning the particular sensations, thoughts, emotions, and perceptions present at a given moment. Scientists investigate these dimensions through verbal and behavioral reports, physiological and neural measures that do not require reporting, causal interventions such as anesthesia or brain stimulation, and computational models. Because no single method provides direct access to another person's subjective experience, reliable conclusions depend on agreement among several kinds of evidence. Research also extends beyond healthy adults to animals, infants, patients with impaired communication, and potentially artificial systems. Many mammals and birds display behavioral and neural signs compatible with conscious states, whereas infants must be studied indirectly because they cannot verbally describe their experiences. Current AI systems can process and report information, but there is no accepted test demonstrating that they possess phenomenal consciousness, and most researchers do not regard their sophisticated outputs alone as evidence of subjective experience. The study of consciousness has major ethical and medical consequences because the capacity for pain and pleasure influences how humans should treat animals, vulnerable patients, and possibly future artificial systems, while improved measures of consciousness can affect diagnosis and treatment. The deepest unresolved issue remains what David Chalmers called the hard problem, explaining why neural information processing should feel like anything from the inside rather than simply perform cognitive functions. Science therefore follows a pragmatic path, seeking increasingly precise connections between brain mechanisms, behavior, and reported experience, while leaving open the possibility that the philosophical problem may require concepts that current theories do not yet provide. Overall, the article presents consciousness as an organized and subjective flow of experience, probably arising from large-scale, recurrent, and integrative brain processes, emphasizing that despite major advances in measurement and theory explaining why experience exists at all, remains an open and fundamental research challenge.